So the red pill is going to implode in, let's say, 4 to 5 years. I mean, that's not a Nostradamus fucking prediction, and I have to be right on the mark, but it's on its way down, on its way out. It's already on fire. It's choking. It's going to die soon. And the reason it's going to die soon is because it has entered into its incoherence phase. Let's say it's the stage 4 cancer of any movement. And I'm sure other people have mapped out how these movements work and and has already predicted in their own way why it's going to die out. But this is my personal interpretation as someone who has been involved in this field, right? At certain points in my career, I would say, I'm red pill, or I would say I was manosphere. And, I had certain ideas that I was professing, and some of them I think were very good, and some of them I think were half-baked, and I still needed to mature some of my ideologies as time went on. But I can come at this from a very personally informed and a place of expertise, right? Like, I know what I'm talking about when it comes to this particular thing, and you should probably listen to me. Not for the sake of sucking my dick, but for the sake of you getting something out of this phase that we're in right now. And by understanding why the red pill became what it is today and why it's going to die, you can actually improve your life, because you'll know what ideologies, you'll have a cheat sheet of like, okay, if I want to improve my life when it comes to, at least for this channel, my dating and relationship life, right? I'm not so focused on the self-improvement, get in shape, get money. That's not my thing, right? That's all important, and you should go, figure that out. But I'm focused on dating and relationships, right? So all of my perspective is going to be mostly related around that, but I will touch upon some of the more cultural ideas that red pill is starting to touch upon and deconstruct it a little bit. This won't be an exhaustive explanation that will take 2 hours. It'll just be a cheat sheet for you to go into ideas when it comes to dating and relationships or self-improvement, and kind of just go, okay, this is bullshit, this is not, because it doesn't abide by these 2 benchmarks that I'm going to lay out for you. So the short version of this is, if you don't feel like watching the whole fucking video because I talk too much, you need to have 2 benchmarks when it comes to taking advice from anybody, all right? Is it virtuous, and does it work? Because if it's not virtuous and it doesn't work, well, it's fucking stupid, right? But even if it works, but it's not virtuous, you shouldn't take it. In the long term, there'll be a net loss. You might get some gains in the beginning, but overall, it's going to be a faulty model that's going to result in suffering personally and suffering with the people that you're interacting with. Basically, if you're a shit person, but you're getting the results that you want, it might be cool at first, but eventually it's going to end up biting you in the ass, I promise you. So stuff like fucking girls who have boyfriends or husbands, or being an asshole to people. There is some nuance when it comes to being an asshole, because being an asshole doesn't always mean actually being a bad person. But you got to think for yourself when it comes to basically your behavior and your language. But not screwing girls who have boyfriends or husbands, not lying and deceiving people. Those are the big ones. Just being honest, and not fucking with chicks who have some dude in their life. If you just avoid those 2 things, a lot of unethical behavior can be avoided. But then, of course, also like respecting people and being kind and being nice and trying to actually improve the lives of the women that you interact with. But if you find a philosophy that is giving you results but unvirtuous, don't do it. I promise you, dude. Just fucking trust me on this. I mean, a lot of people don't care and they just want the results, but they're gonna eat the cake when it's rotten. They're not gonna like it so much. Then you have something that's virtuous and doesn't work, which is technically better. It's better to be virtuous but unproductive. It kind of sucks, but it's still better in the long run, because it does lead to more success overall. But you don't see those results for a long time because it's an ineffective model and it's not really giving you what you want. The best thing to find is something that's virtuous and does work, right? So what I mean is, you look at philosophy and you're like, okay, this guy seems to know what he's talking about when it comes to dating and relationships. But maybe, what he's saying doesn't really square up with a lot of my ethics. So what I can do is, oh, he has this kind of charisma, or this kind of sense of humor, or this kind of behavior. Okay, I can take that, and I just have to do it in an ethical way. That's the best way to do things. You can learn things from a lot of people, horrible or good, right? Because if they're successful on some level, they're doing something effective, right? So you can take what they're doing that's effective, but then apply it in an ethical way. That's great. Or you can look at people who are both virtuous and effective at getting girls or getting relationships, and you're like, okay, they're kind to women, but they also get pussy. They can hold a stable relationship because they're not a piece of shit narcissist psychopath. and they know how to communicate to a partner openly and with integrity. Okay, cool. I'm gonna take that as well. Great, perfect. That's the best benchmark, virtuous and effective, right? So those two benchmarks you should apply to any person that you're looking to for advice. And I'm speaking specifically about specific figures because right now that's what we're in. We're in stage 3. We're in the idealizing marketing stage of any movement, right? So that's why I'm really focusing on like figures. Like all the famous guys are famous guys, right? We're not looking at companies. We're not looking at movements so much. What we're doing right now is we're following specific figures, and you're well aware of who they are if you're tuned in any way to the self-improvement, dating, advice, getting money, getting fitness, getting status, whatever. You know who these figures are. I'm not going to talk about them specifically because I have no desire to start shit. This isn't about, calling people out. This is about you. This is a video about you. It's not about me. It's not about them. It's about you. What can you get from these ideas of red pill, and specifically within the dating and relationship advice area, okay? So in order for you to really understand this, I want to do a quick history lesson, very fast, right? I did a shoot before this, but it ended up being like 25 minutes. Hopefully I'll make this one a lot quicker. I know I talk a lot, but hopefully the nuance is very helpful to people. I don't know. I just talk too much probably. Okay, so phase 1 of any movement, right? Red pill was originally called manosphere, and it evolved from the pickup artist community, which slowly started to die in the late 2000s. And the reason why it was really, really cool is because the pickup artists, they came at dating and relationships with a very academic, nerdy framework. And that was really cool because it was able to extract principles and ideas that a lot of people hadn't really considered I'm well aware of for most of at least our current recorded history, right? It was the poets, it was the writers talking about love and da-da-da-da-da. Yeah, but they were all ending up in Romeo and Juliet situations. But these nerds come out and they're just like, let's break this down into a science. And it really was fucking cool and it was really smart. But it was a bit too nerdy and a bit too academic. So when the manosphere came, it came with a big dick. And it was like, yeah, this works and this works, but you're all being simps. And you still just get in shape, get some good fashion. You don't have to wear a weird fucking outfit to get a girl's attention. Just, wear some nice clothes. Duh. Right? So it came at the nerdy scholastic pickup artists with this, this swagger and this, traditional masculine energy, which was really needed. And then once it's synthesized with the pickup artist community, it was an explosion of awesome ideas and awesome success. And that's when I came when I personally started working in the field, was at this moment where it kind of synthesized and had this chain reaction. And I was part of it because I was bringing these ideas into it. And I was like, oh, this. And the combination of these two philosophies really helped my results. And I was getting good results with women, good results with relationships, good results with my personal life. And there was a lot of growth, and I could see that growth happening in a lot of other companies and websites and channels that were starting to emerge at that time. That was the experimental phase. That's where all the ideas start to get, does this work? Does this not work? Does this make sense? Does this not make sense? And people start ironing out the kinks. They start doing the alchemy, and then, they explode and they get their hand blown off, or, they create gold from copper, whatever, right? Then you get into the coherence phase. Is when things start to make sense and people have extracted enough of these good ideas that they can start going out and teaching it to others. And that's really fucking interesting and cool because then other people start succeeding from it, right? All these guys are like, I'm gonna approach this girl and try this, I'm gonna try this, I'm gonna try this. And they get a bunch of success, and then they start teaching other people, and these other guys start getting success, and then they're like, holy shit, this is a business. You come to me, I'm a coach, I teach you this, you go get results, it fucking works. And it's even better than the pickup artist because it's this holistic thing that's really, really working well. That's awesome. That's the coherence phase, and that's where I started to get into it. And it was really awesome. It was still known as the manosphere. Then it started to get called red pill. I don't remember, 2015-ish, 2016. I forgot who originated the idea. But what happened was there was this, I saw it coming. It was this influx of psychopathic narcissistic shit, right? And to some extent, I kind of bought into some of it too, because I wanted to experiment with it. But it was these few guys, and I don't want to call them out because you don't even know who they are, right? But they started to come into the field with these very dark, like brutal perspectives on culture and society and women. And there was still some interesting things in what they were saying if you took away the angry, obviously I got cheated on, and you know, my girl sucked my best friend's dick and made me watch, and I'm, you know, like I'm not saying that as like these guys were like bitter as fuck. Like these guys clearly had some horrible experiences with women and they were real fucking angry. And if you were around during that time and watching this shit, you would see this and you'd be like, damn, these guys they're edgy. Like if you think the shit you're seeing now is edgy, like you should have seen, you know, all these ideas that you're seeing now that are really, really unpopular, that shit's like B-grade radioactive material. Like the stuff I was reading back then, it was like, Jesus Christ, you guys are edgy. But that all got filtered out, right? The too extreme shit really gets filtered out when it hits the third stage, which is the marketing phase, right? So that's what we're in right now. We're in the marketing phase. And what's interesting is the marketing phase that we're in right now is not about companies. It's about solitary figures. Like I said, I'm not going to call anyone out. You know who the fuck I'm talking about. People who are really famous, this guy or this guy or this guy or this guy, and they're idolized. And they're spouting all these ideas. And the reason that's happening is because there's a convergence, fucking words, of how marketing in general in the world is right now. And it's less about companies, more about brands. You have YouTubers who are just solo or, you know, have a small team that are bigger than fucking Disney and Coca-Cola. Like, these guys are major. These guys have so much more influence than some of the biggest companies in the world. So we're in a interesting phase of just general marketing in the world of singular figures, personal brands. That's our marketing stage right now in the world. And then we have this particular ideology that's becoming very popular, red pill. And it's becoming popular because it's an antidote to another extreme ideology that you're well aware of. So there's this boom, and the red pill is starting to win, and then it's being buffered by these individual figures who are being idolized. And they're just slowly eating away this other extremism, but then they're just replacing it with another extremism, as usually what happens, right? Problem with this is that when things start to hit their marketing phase, most marketing, unfortunately, is run off of buzzwords and very simple ideologies that are very easy to get behind. Don't be a simp, be high status, women will chase you, da-da. And it's like, these ideas have some truth behind it, but like a little bit. And then there's all this nuance that people don't pay attention to because it requires a brain, right? But, you know, if you get something out of it, good for you. Like, who the fuck cares, right? Like I said, if it works, it works. And as long as it's virtuous, then go fucking do it, right? I'm just being a nerd to kind of teach you a history lesson so you don't get caught up in the bullshit, right? So all this is happening, but it's eventually going to implode. And why is it going to implode? Because the people who are being idolized are very imperfect, myself included, right? There are a lot of things about these people you're looking up to that are not real. That is a show that's being put on. They're not as good as you think they are. They're not as good with girls as you think they are. They're just really good at marketing. They're not as good people as you think they are. They probably have a lot of shady shit in their life. They're probably not the most mentally healthy people, right, that you should be looking up to, right? They seem really cool and masculine and strong on the outside, but they got a lot of fucked up shit that's probably happening in their life, right? So there's a lot of imperfection about these personal brands, these people that you're looking up to. And what's gonna happen is eventually, let me just put it really simply, and I don't mean to insult anyone, but dumbasses are gonna start saying dumbass shit, and this dumbass shit is gonna start not to fucking make sense. The math isn't gonna math. And then what's gonna happen is people are gonna start repeating this bullshit, and they're gonna start fucking up in their personal dating and relationship life, and they're gonna see, maybe a lot of this doesn't actually make sense. And then it's gonna start to implode. People are gonna start to reject that which they once idolized and looked up to and worshipped, because you were worshiping people that shouldn't be worshipped, right? But, you know, fame and success and status gets to people's fucking heads. Power corrupts, okay? And I'm susceptible to it as well. I'm sure if I blew up tomorrow and had 1 million subscribers, 1 million viewers, I'm sure it would get to my fucking head. I would do my best to not let it, but, you know, if you think you're not susceptible to power, to the corruption of power, then you're probably really susceptible to it, right? Okay, but hey, you know, people got to do what they got to do. So, you know, everyone has to learn their lessons. But these guys probably shouldn't be as influential as they are, but they are. And that's how life is. That's their karma. So, you know, for better or worse. Okay, cool. But people are going to start following it. They're going to start believing that dumb shit, doing dumb shit, and then it's going to just, you know, it's going to fall apart. And then eventually this incoherent philosophy is going to be exposed for the incoherent philosophy it is, because you have this guy who believes this, 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 and then it's all just going to, and then it's going to settle, and then it's going to die. And then something else is going to emerge out of it. I don't know what it is. It could be pure PUA again. It could be religious fundamentalism. Like, who the fuck knows where things are going to go? All I know is Red Pill is going to die very, very soon. And I don't want you to be there holding the bag when it does and be like, why did I believe all that dumb shit? Like, why didn't I think for myself? Go think for yourself. Don't idealize people. Don't idealize me, right? If you feel like I teach you good stuff, then follow my stuff. Get my courses, get my books, right? But use your brain. Look at what I'm teaching you and look what all these people are teaching you and be like, okay, does this get me results? And is it virtuous? If no to either of those things, fuck it. It's not worth it. But if it has integrity and it works, great. But still, you should understand why you're doing it. Not to some scholastic academic extent. Like, this isn't your profession, right? You're just here to get results. At the end of the day, you just want to get a kiss. You want to get a hug. You want to have a fucking date. You want to get laid for the first time in like 3 years. Or you want to lose your virginity. Maybe you've never even touched a girl's fucking vagina. I don't know what it is. You want a girlfriend. You want a wife. Most guys just want a girlfriend and a wife. Very few guys want to be this fucking pimp who's fucking 50 chicks a year. You may think... You think that you want to be that guy because you're looking up to the guys who are doing this and you're like, I got to be like them. But most of those guys probably aren't even doing it to the extent that you think they're doing it. And most of them are probably realizing that hedonistic treadmill, you know, that it's a black hole and it just keeps going and going. And eventually you're going to settle down. 99% of you just want a nice girlfriend. And that's completely okay. Don't feel like you have to chase after this guy's ideal. And if you don't, you're not a real man. It's all bullshit, right? Just fucking go do what you want to do. Take ideas and practical philosophies that work for you, and as long as they have integrity, go and do it. Everything else is a complete waste of time. Don't get caught up in this culture war. You're trying to bring back old values, I promise, if you had the ideal world that you think should come back, but that perfect time never existed, right? This is just golden age philosophy fallacies, golden age fallacies, right? Perfect time never existed. It's never going to exist. Just get what you want from these ideas and philosophies and movements, and then get out, right? Go in, take the food that you need, get out, and go back to your family, okay? Don't get caught up in the cultural wars and the ideology wars and the debates and the this and that. It's such a fucking waste of time. Just go get pussy, you know, be a good guy, go get your girlfriend, go find your wife, and be a happy dude and move on with the next phase of your life, okay? Don't be there when the red pill implodes, because it is about to implode. So, if you enjoyed this video, like, subscribe, ring the bell. If you want to check out my products in the description, I don't want to be too markety, right? With this video, because that would be highly hypocritical. But it is the way I make a living, so I guess in some weird spin backwards, you know, no scope 180 kind of way, I am kind of selling you as myself, who is the better guy. Yeah, I guess, you know, I am subject to self-interest as well, right? And I think I'm better than everyone else because I'm honest about it and transparent about it, but then maybe that's just another layer of pride and conceit, right? So you should question me just as much as you should question someone else. Don't idealize me. Trust me, I'm not someone to be idolized or worshipped or looked up to, and that probably sounds fucking weird to even say, right? Now I'm spinning myself in loops trying to be too transparent and open and honest and doing the same thing that I always do, where I just over-explain too much. So stop listening. Don't watch this video anymore. Okay, bye.